Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are diving into AI-generated content today. It's seriously like AI is everywhere now. Like it's making music and paintings and even novels. It's actually getting so good, like really good. It's kind of blurring the lines between like what's made by a person and what's made by, an algorithm. So that's what we're going to unpack today. Like how is this tech being used? We're even going to play a game and see if you can tell the difference between human and AI. And then we're going to like dive into what this all means for the future of creativity. So,
It really is amazing how AI is like challenging our very definition of what it means to be creative. You know, when an AI makes like a catchy song or writes a poem, is that actually creativity or is it just like really good at copying what it's learned from tons of
Ugh.
data? It's like, what even makes something original anymore? These are questions like artists and philosophers are really struggling with.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just some like far off sci-fi thing anymore. AI tools like ChatGPT and Midjourney and DLE are already out there. People are using them to create stuff way faster than they ever could before. Like we're talking about feeding an AI like every painting ever made, and then it like takes all that and creates something new based on the patterns it finds. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, and what I think is really interesting is like this access to AI tools, it's like actually impacting creative fields in real ways. So, for example, in advertising companies are using AI to come up with ad copy and visuals targeted to like specific groups of people. Graphic designers are using it to brainstorm logo ideas or website layouts. And even filmmakers are using AI to help them with things like storyboarding and special effects. It's changing the whole creative process.
Okay, so it's clear AI is already doing its thing. But before we go too deep into all that, how about we test your AI detection skills? Are you ready to play a game?
I think our listener is up for the challenge. So I'm going to describe two creative works in a few categories: text, visual art, and music. One will be made by a human, the other by AI. And you have to guess which is which. I think you can spot the AI.
Oh, I love a good challenge.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with text. Hit us with your first pair.
Okay, so picture this. First, we have a blog post analyzing the latest political news. It's well-researched, cites multiple sources, but the tone is a bit dry and academic. Second, we have an opinion piece on the same news. It's full of witty commentary and personal stories, but it doesn't cite any sources. So which one screams AI?
Okay, this one's tricky. On one hand, AI is known for being able to like process information from tons of sources, which makes that first blog post seem like a good candidate. But then again, AI might have trouble with the humor and personal touch at the second piece. What do you think out there, dear listener? Is the AI playing it safe with the research-heavy post, or is it trying to be all clever and stuff?
Well, the AI creation is actually the first one, the blog post. As you said, AI is really good at processing info from a lot of sources. It can scan through tons of data and make a real structured summary. However, it often struggles with adding personality or humor. That personal touch, that ability to connect with the reader on an emotional level, that's still something that humans do best.
So even when it comes to like news where facts and being objective are key, those little bits of personality are what make it interesting. AI can give you the information, but it's the human touch that really makes it come alive.
Exactly. And that's why I think a lot of journalists aren't too worried about being replaced by AI. They see it as a tool that can help them with research and fact-checking. But the writing itself, the crafting of the story, that's where human creativity really shines.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right, let's move on to the next challenge. What do you have for us in the world of art?
Okay, for our art challenge, imagine two portraits. The first is like a classical oil painting of a noblewoman. Super detailed and technically perfect, but she has like a serene, almost emotionless expression. The second is a modern abstract portrait, like a riot of colors and textures. It really captures the subject's inner turmoil and intensity. Which one screams AI?
Ooh, this one is interesting. AI seems to be all about technical perfection. So that classical portrait with all those details seems like the obvious choice. But could an AI really understand the emotion needed to make that abstract portrait? You know, the kind that makes you feel the subject's emotions. This is a tough one. What do you think, dear listener?
Well, the AI creation is actually the first one again, the classical oil painting. While AI is getting better at copying different art styles, it still seems to lean towards things it can reproduce with technical precision. That classical portrait with its focus on anatomical accuracy and smooth brushstrokes, that's right, in AI's comfort zone. But the abstract portrait, on the other hand, that needs a deeper understanding of human emotion and the ability to translate those feelings into a visual language.
So it's almost like AI is still in its look what I can do phase. Like it wants to prove it can master the technical skills before it tries to get all abstract and emotional. It really makes you wonder if, as AI gets better, we'll start seeing more emotional pieces from algorithms. I, for one, am curious to see what happens. All right, let's move on to our final challenge. One VG.
Get those ears ready. For our music challenge, imagine two pieces. First, we have a catchy pop song, repetitive beats, simple lyrics about love and heartbreak. You know, the kind of song that gets stuck in your head all day. Second, we have an experimental electronic piece with complex, layered soundscapes and no real melody. It's challenging, but ultimately rewarding to listen to. Which one is the AI?
Okay, now this one's really tough. Part of me wants to say the pop song is the AI, because it seems like something an algorithm could easily make based on like existing pop hits. But then again, the experimental piece could be the AI just showing off, like flexing its ability to make something totally unique. This is a real head scratcher. What do you think out there, dear listener?
You're right, it could go either way. But in this case, it's the catchy pop song that's the AI. And here's why. AI is really good at pattern recognition. So if you feed it a bunch of pop hits, it can like analyze what makes them catchy, like the chords and the rhythms and even like the themes and the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then it can use all that to create a song that has all the elements of a hit, even if it's missing that like special something that comes from a human, you know?
Wow, that's kind of freaky. Like AI could just be pumping out catchy songs all the time
Oh, yeah.
and like flooding the music scene with songs that sound great, but don't have that like emotional depth that we connect with in music. So what does this mean for musicians then? Especially those making pop music, which is like all about trends and formulas.
Yeah, it's definitely shaking things up. But some musicians actually see it as an opportunity and not a threat. Like, instead of being scared of AI, they're using it as a tool, for songwriting and production. Imagine using AI to help you come up with chords or drum beats or even melodies. Then the musician can focus on the lyrics and their vocal performance and the overall arrangement. The things AI can't really do.
So it's like having a super powered songwriting partner who can like come up with ideas super fast. It's not about replacing humans. It's about making the creative process better and opening up new possibilities. I like that. It makes AI seem less scary and more like a tool you can work with.
Exactly. And it's not just music either. We're seeing this potential for collaboration in all creative fields. Architects are using AI to come up with building designs that are both functional and beautiful. Writers are using it to come up with plot ideas or to develop their characters. The key is to see AI as a partner, a collaborator that can help us do new things.
This whole conversation has really changed how I think about AI creativity. It's not about robots taking over and making all the art. It's about learning to work with AI and using it to make our own creativity even better.
And that brings us back to our question from before. If you can't tell the difference between human and AI, does it even matter who made it?
Right. That big question. So what are your thoughts? Have you come to any conclusions?
Well, I think the answer isn't so simple. Like, in some cases, it might not matter. If you're listening to a song or looking at a painting, the enjoyment you get might be more important than knowing where it came from.
Right. It's like when you love a book.
Yeah.
And then you find out it was written under a fake name. The story is what matters, not who wrote it.
Exactly. But in other cases, knowing who made it might really matter. Like if you're reading a news article or a science paper, knowing if it was written by an expert or by an AI, that's really important for deciding if you can trust it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like context is everything.
Yeah.
And I bet it's even more important in things like journalism and law and medicine, where ethics and judgment are super important.
Totally. So as AI becomes more and more a part of our lives, it's super important to develop critical thinking skills and be media literate. We need to know where information comes from, understand the biases of both human and AI creators, and make good choices about what we consume and believe.
It's like being a smart shopper. But instead of comparing prices, we're comparing sources and creators, looking deeper to understand who made something and why. That's going to be such an important skill in the future.
It will be. And it's not just about being a good consumer. AI is also changing the job market. As AI starts doing more routine tasks, some jobs are going to disappear.
Yeah, that's what worries people. They think AI is going to steal their jobs.
Yeah, I get that. But instead of being scared of losing jobs, maybe we should think about how AI can free us up to do more interesting work. So instead of spending our time on boring tasks that a machine can do, we can focus on things that need human skills. Things like creativity and critical thinking and empathy and problem solving.
So it's not about being replaced. It's about moving up to jobs that need those things that make us human. That AI still can't do. It's a more positive way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just individual jobs. AI could change entire industries, like healthcare. AI can help doctors diagnose patients, personalize treatment plans, and analyze tons of data to make medical research go faster. Or education. AI could create personalized learning plans, give students feedback in real time, and give teachers more time to focus on individual students.
Wow. Those are some really cool examples. It's exciting to think about how AI could be used to solve big problems, like improving healthcare or fighting climate change.
And that's really the main point. AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us as people to decide how it's used, to make sure it helps us and makes our lives better.
Well said. This has been such an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I've gone from being kind of worried about AI to actually being excited about what it could do.
It's a journey a lot of us are on, and it's a journey that needs us to stay informed and ask questions and have these kinds of conversations.
Speaking of conversations, we've talked about a lot, but I still have one question. If AI can make such amazing things, what happens to the value we put on human creativity? Will we still care about it? That's the big question, isn't it? Like, if AI keeps getting better at being creative, will we think human art is less special, less valuable? I mean, if an AI can make a masterpiece in like minutes, does that mean all the time and effort a human artist puts in is worth less?
Yeah, a lot of people are worried about that, especially artists. But, art isn't just about skill or how long it takes to make something. It's about having a point of view, showing emotions, telling stories, connecting with people. And at least for now, those are things humans are still better at.
Right. It's like those imperfections we talked about, like a slightly wrong note in a song or a brushstroke that went in the wrong direction. Those little things that show a human made it, those might actually become more important as AI gets better because they show that it's real, like a piece of someone's soul went into it.
That's a good point. As we see more and more AI-made stuff, those human touches might become what people really want.
Right.
It's kind of like how we handmade things more than mass-produced things. We like knowing someone put their time and skill and love into making it.
And there's also the surprise factor. With human creativity, you never know what you're going to get. There's that feeling of discovery, of being like, wow, I didn't expect that.
Exactly.
But AI, at least now, mostly uses patterns and formulas. It's good at copying, but not so good at breaking the rules and coming up with something truly new.
Yeah. There's something magical about human creativity, that spark of the unknown.
Right.
Will AI ever be able to do that? Maybe, maybe not. But for now, that feeling of surprise, of not knowing what's next, that's what makes human creativity different.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what advice would you give to someone who's feeling a bit like overwhelmed by all this AI stuff?
Well, first of all, don't freak out. AI is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used in good ways or bad ways. It's up to us to figure out how to use it.
I like that.
Second, keep learning. The world is changing so fast. And the skills we need today might not be the skills we need tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
So be curious, be adaptable, and always be ready to learn new stuff. And finally, focus on what makes you human.
Okay.
Be creative. Think critically. Be empathetic. Be able to connect with other people. Those are the things that will make you stand out in a world where AI can do almost anything.
Those are really good points. And I think it's important to remember that AI isn't going away. It's just going to become more part of our lives, in our work, in our personal lives.
Yeah.
So the best thing we can do is learn about it, understand what it can and can't do, and figure out how to work with it.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe all this AI stuff will actually make us appreciate human creativity even more, make us see it as something really special and important.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into AI and creativity. It's been a really interesting conversation, and I hope you've all learned something new, and maybe even changed your mind about some things.
Remember, the future of creativity is still being written, and we all have a part to play in shaping it. So stay curious, stay engaged, and keep exploring the world where humans and AI meet.
Until next time, keep diving deep.